everyone. Thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. My name's EdieAnne. I want to talk to you today about cultivating your teams. Very often during the lifespan of an organization, a business, a team, a group, whatever you want to call it, there's going to be times where all of a sudden it feels like nobody's motivated. Nobody wants to do the extra things that are needed to be done in order for their own personal business to flourish. Now, keep in mind, as leaders, we almost kind of, drink and breathe it and sleep with it, right? Because we have seen some greatness come from it. We have seen some greatness for our own selves, as well as being someone that's able to watch somebody else go through some great things, right? Because of the business. So as leaders, we want to motivate. And when we have a group of people that are working with us, or in our downline, or whatever the term is that you guys use, we don't understand sometimes why people don't seem as motivated or as in love with the business as we are, right? That is a common thing that a lot of people go through. Why don't they want it as badly as I do, right? So here's the deal. First of all, we don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And there are times where coincidence will take effect, and all of a sudden, this kind of ripple has happened, and there's a lot of different things going on in a lot of people's lives that are just not, it seems like the timing is off, right? We've heard that before. Boy, everything seems to all happen all at once. It's kind of a natural occurrence. So keep that in mind, that as a leader, you aren't going to want it bad enough for them, okay? So whatever it is that's going on in their life is legit. It's something they're dealing with. Could they be dealing with it in a different way or a better way? Probably. But we can't sit here and judge how somebody is dealing with a situation because we are not them. Even if we've been through a similar situation, we're still not them, right? So that's the first part to consider in looking at an organization or a business or a team, knowing that they're just not functioning the same way that you potentially as their leader is, okay? Secondly, it is very natural. I want you to picture being at a beach, at a ocean beach. And you're watching as the waves are coming in and out. What you're not seeing is that buildup of energy that's happening underneath when a tide or when the wave is going back out to sea. When the wave is going back out to sea, there's a buildup of energy that is happening underneath, so that when it's time, and there's enough push from behind it, that tide is, or that wave is going to push way back up onto the beach. And as the tide rises, it goes further and further because the push is harder, right? So understand that the concept of ebbing and flowing is a pretty natural thing. And in most cases, it's needed, right? You need the ebb to get the flow. The ebb is the energy that builds up for the flow to happen, okay? So when your business starts to do that motion, that ebbing, where it feels like everything's going backwards, maybe it's not moving at all, maybe it's just not flourishing or building or whatever, understand that an ebb is natural. And in most cases in business, ebbing is needed to build the momentum, to refocus, to regroup, and to have enough energy to push forward again, okay? Now, when that happens, kind of par for the course. Typically, it will happen around the same time frame for most businesses, right? In direct sales, you've heard that term before where they say the J months are very slow. I personally have never experienced that because I don't believe it. But when you're looking at a business aspect, a lot of people in direct sales tend to be a little bit slower during the same times of year. And it's based on people traveling, people being at camp, people not being in the buying mode, whatever the case may be. So that is the ebb that's happening before the flow, right? So the summer months are the ebb, and then all of a sudden fall comes and we're so stinking busy that we can't keep up with ourselves, right? So look at a team, okay? So when you're looking at a team and you say, gosh, I just can't seem to get them motivated. I put things out there for them to, reach for, and I say, well, maybe they're not hungry. You're dangling the carrot. There might not be hunger there. And that is a legitimate thing. If people are not motivated by that carrot, they're not going to reach for it because they don't care about it. But let's say and I just really believe in this, that you need to personally connect with your team, with your individuals on the team. Team is great, but there are times when you need to break up that team and become the one person, okay? And I mean that in regards to connecting with people one-on-one, not as a group, not as a team, but one-on-one. Because ultimately, if somebody says, hey, you know what, I'm motivated by you yelling out my name on the team page, well, guess what? When you do that, that's going to motivate them to do more because they're going to want it more. If somebody says, I'm motivated by prizes, even the little things, then by sending them a gift every now and then to celebrate something that they might have done, be it small or not, having one sale is a big feat and a celebrating opportunity, right? But what if somebody comes to you and prize recognition and award and reward? Recognition and reward is something that's extremely important in leadership, but it's not what everybody wants, right? So what if you reached out to somebody and they said, I don't know what motivates me, and say, well, if there was one thing you could wish for, what would it be? And this is a single mom who says, I just wish I could have some time to myself sometimes. Nothing against my kids. I love my kids, but I just wish I could have some time to myself. Maybe what would motivate that person is to say, hey, you know what? If you reach your certain goal, maybe 150 or 500 for the month, I'm going to buy you a babysitter and a day at the spa. I know that's big, right? Or just say, I will pay for a babysitter so you can go and do whatever you want. That could be huge for that person, right? So if it's something that is tangible for you and you're going to spend money to get a prize or a reward anyway, then what does it matter what it is? If it matters to them what it is, then make it happen, right? What if, someone says, I just wish I had more time with my husband. He works so hard and he's never home. And say, hey, you know what? I'll buy dinner for 2 for you and your husband. Right? Say, hey, you reach 150, I'll pay for the babysitter. You reach 2,000, I'll buy you guys dinner too. I mean, whatever, be creative, right? So that's the reward system that most people will react to. But it doesn't always have to be business tools. It doesn't always have to be, I mean, a lot of people do cash and stuff, and that's okay. But if you could make it more personal, that might be more advantageous to you. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is, let's cultivate your team, right? That's how I started off this video, and I kind of got off on a tangent 9 minutes later. Cultivate your team means if you have a plant and you've neglected that plant and you haven't watered it in a long time. And you look at it, 3 weeks later after it hasn't been watered, and you say, okay, I have two choices here. Either I can throw it away, or I can spend a little time and attention every day and see if I can bring it back to life. Take that analogy into your team, okay? Maybe for whatever reason, you've neglected the team. Maybe you haven't, and they're just trying to swim and stay afloat, okay? Then picture your team as the plant. And I have seen some people at times say things like, oh, what's wrong with you guys? Why are you not motivated? What am I doing wrong? What are you doing wrong? How come everybody's just not talking or interacting or whatever? And we get frustrated and we share that frustration. That would be like having that potted plant on the ground and you kicking it saying, come on, why aren't you perking up? Why aren't you turning green again? What's wrong with you? I believe that the longer you lift somebody up, eventually they're going to react. Now, it may not be the reaction that you want. They may turn around and say, you know what, screw this. I don't want anything to do with you. That's way too much for me. You may lose them. They may bitch and complain, right? But they may, and this is the beauty of this, they may take in that nurturing, take in that water and sunshine, and all of a sudden start to rebloom, start to reblossom, start to get green again. And now that you've got the momentum and you're nurturing, excuse me. Now that you are nurturing them and they're coming back to life, it's so much easier as leaders to keep that momentum going, right? So do yourself a favor, analyze your team, know that it's natural for the ebb to happen because the flow is following. Understand and be empathetic to what might be happening in their lives, that their ebb is lasting a little longer than you would like. But keep cultivating them, keep nurturing them, keep watering them, keep giving them the tools that they need to survive in this business. And when they decide to give up, that will be their choice. And maybe you can talk them out of it, who knows, depending on what it is that their reason is for wanting to quit, right? But don't beat the plant. Nurture it. Don't decide to just throw it away. Because what if that plant decided to take off again and to get green and to start growing branches again and to bloom and blossom? How awesome would that be, right? You've heard of the comeback kid. Well, there are people that do that. I have a few on my team. You think that they've withered away to absolutely nothing and their roots are just holding on for dear life. And then all of a sudden, because they felt like they weren't given up on, they bloom again. That's pretty powerful. And that goes on to the mindset of a leader. I'm not going to give up on you unless you give up on yourself. And even then, I might not give up on you. Right? I hope you found this of value. I hope you found it a little helpful. If you're struggling with your team, know you're not alone. Also know that there is a flow that is potentially ebbing up to happen. All right? Have an amazing day, everyone. Go make it an amazing day for somebody else. Bye.